Okay, so you've clicked the link in the handout, wound up here, and you're going to start blogging. Click the button and then enter all the sign-up information. And you'll be taken right here. Get started. I would select the blog as a type of website. Again, we'll click blog, click next, give it a title. And I chose Just Explore. Click next. And you can see up here in the upper left hand, that's the blog that you're going to create. Click next. And a few questions for you. And I would recommend that you do not pick the ADI website. There are a whole bunch of templates that you can look at here, several pages of them, but I frankly like this train of thought one the best. Wix takes a little while to build your site. Actually, it takes much longer than it showed right there. Have to be patient. And it's going to add all kinds of elements to your site. And that is your basic site right here. We'll scroll down, take a look around, see what's going on. And here's where things get just a little bit tricky. Let me explain. Most blogs are set up as parts of web pages. And Wix wants to add a whole bunch of extra pages for you to have other features that one might have on a website. For me, that just makes things a little bit more complicated. So what you're seeing here is really a base page, and then you can go to a blog from that page. I would get rid of everything that's on this page and just keep the blog. So let me show you how to go about doing that. So what you want to do is you want to go over here to this little menus and pages icons. Click that. And it's pretty simple. You just want to get rid of all these pages. So I'm going to delete the home page. Yes. You can keep the about page if you want, but I'm going to delete my about page. You're welcome to keep it. And that's pretty much it. Let's go back now to see what we did. And you can see this looks a lot better. We don't have all that clutter. We don't have all that all those extra pages. Probably want to change the title here. And we'll just double click on it. And I'll call this Sociology 208. I'll insert one of these little characters. I forget what they're called. And we'll give it Social Problems. And if you want to get fancy, which is always nice to do, let's select all that text and make it a little bit smaller. I think 65 works out pretty well. Oh, there we go. If you want to get it more precise, you can just click in that area. I'll make it 66. And there you go. There's our blog. Okay. So let's take a little tour around what you can do with Wix. And the first thing that I want to do, and by the way, you could try clicking different places and see what happens. I clicked over there, enabled me to edit my text. I can click over there and I can sort of change my tagline if I want, or I can get rid of the tagline altogether. But anyway, one thing that I would have a slight preference if you can do this, but not the end of the world if you don't. Let's, when this displays, this is going to display in 2 columns, and each of your posts will be displayed 1, 2, and down like that. It's a little bit easier for me to read these if you make a change, and I'll show you how to do that, and also show you some other things as well. So I'm going to click in here in this area, and I see Settings. Click Settings, and you'll see you can do all kinds of things. You can create a post from right here. You can change what's displayed. You'll notice over here, for example, that it shows the publication date somewhere. I don't know where, but it shows it. Probably when this is actually posted, it'll show the date. It shows the reading time. I'd really appreciate it. Your blog should be pretty quick for me to read. If it takes me more than 5 minutes to read your post, you probably have too much information in it. A little description, etc. So you can keep these things, or change them as you like. What I'd like to do, though, is make this change the way these are laid out so we don't have 2 columns. And there are a couple of ways to do that. This is one way. And this shows you sort of one way to view that. And this one is slightly different. This just gives you a little description of the blog post, but doesn't show you the whole post. Again, easier for me if you do full post. And then once this is published, I'll be able to read each post in order, see about when you created it, take a look at how long I'm going to have to spend reading it, etc. So those are a couple of things you might want to do. You can play around with the design if you want. You can do what? Change the heading color, change all kinds of different, the border width, all kinds of different things. I'll leave that for you to play around with. Okay, let's move on now to talk about how you create your first post. I'm going to click out of this even though I can create it from that screen. I'm going to click over here on this little pen icon. Comes up again, create a post. Okay, so the artificial intelligence there has to do some work in the background. One thing I'll say for Wix is that it is a bit slow. You've got to be patient. And here we go. This is our blog entry creation screen. So add a catchy title. This is my catchy title. Okay. And we'll start writing our post right over here. And I'm just going to insert some text that I had from someplace else. By the way, you can write your posts in Microsoft Word and Google Docs and just paste them in to Wix. But at any rate, you can see this is my first post. Let's add a picture. I'm going to hit enter there, and we're going to click over here to add an image. And you might employ a screen capture program to clip an image from a website that you are looking at to answer some of the questions that I'm going to pose for you. Okay, let's take a look. Let's upload some media. In my case, I'm going to take this media right off my computer. And what media do we have available here? Let's take this nice picture I took a while ago of the Upper East Side. And it's now loaded this as media. I'm going to add it to the page. And there it is. I can make it smaller, I can make it larger, I can move it around if I want. Well, I guess it's not so easy to move around as I thought, but you can fuss around and figure out if you want to reposition it someplace. There you go. There, we repositioned it right in the middle. A lot of people like to put these above the title, or at any rate above the first paragraph. Up to you how you do it. You can see it sort of cut off in this funky sort of a way, so maybe we'll try to move it back down again. Well, it's still cutting it off in a funky way. Again, this is what you'll have to be playing around with to get this exactly the way that you want it and exactly the way it will look nice for somebody else, i.e. me, to read it. Okay, well, I don't know what happened here. Let's try. Oops. There we go. Well, something weird is going on, and I'm not going to bother with it right now, but of course you'll have to figure this out when you get to do this on your own sites. Okay, let's add one more element here I want to show you. I'm going to come over here, and now I want to add a quote. So to add a quote, all we need to do is, again, position our cursor where we want the quote to appear, and click the little quotation mark. And this is a quote from one of the websites I studied to, oops. And let's put in another quote. All right, and now let's hit enter again. We could add another quote, but instead we'll just go back to our normal paragraph style. You can see from these quotes that whatever you want. Okay, last step here. Last step to see what this looks like. Well, let's start out by publishing this. Now, when you start out, there are a couple of stages you have to go through. It may ask you first to publish your site, and in fact, that is what it's doing, it's asking to do. So we're going to go back to the editor. And again, Wix takes a long time to do its thing. All that artificial intelligence. You've got to be patient here. This can take 3 or 4 minutes. Okay, back to the editor. We're going to click preview to see how it looks. And that looks pretty good. Here are these other sample posts, and you'll want to get rid of these. You can do that in the one of the menus earlier on. But if you can produce something that looks like this consistently, you're going to be in real good shape. All right, now we're going to publish. This is only a preview. This has not been published yet. So we're going to click publish. And again, congratulations, view site. Let's just click done for right now. We're not going to edit this for mobile. You're welcome to edit it for mobile if you'd like, show a friend, etc., or just to practice, since you might use this later on for some other purpose. But I'm not going to be looking at these on my phone, so you don't need to bother doing that. I'm going to click cancel. And let's visit the site. There you go. Now, let me show you one more thing here. I'm going to go up here and, okay, so this is what your site looks like. This is what your site looks like with all of your posts in one place. What you're going to do for me is you're going to click on the title of that post, and now just this post has loaded. I can still see these other ones down here, but basically just this post is loaded. What you're going to do for me is you're going to select this URL, and that URL is what you're going to enter for the assignment. You're going to enter that URL in Blackboard for this assignment. That way, what I can do is I can just click on that link in Blackboard and be taken right to where I want to be in order for you to show me what's going on. I'm going to copy that. Just to show you, I'm going to open up an incognito window. And this now doesn't know anything that I've been on Wix. I'm going to click enter. And there you go. It takes a minute for that to load. That's why it's blurry at first. But this is exactly what I want to be able to see. If you want to use Wix for some other purpose, you can spend a couple of dollars a month. I don't know how much it is. You can get rid of this branding. You get a couple of other features. There's probably a way to hook this up to your Instagram, your Twitter, Pinterest. I think that nobody over 20 years of age, or under 20 years of age, or under 30 years of age uses Facebook, but there's probably a way you can add these links. I don't know what it is. All right, oh, that's just the Wix. That's just the Wix's Instagram site. There's probably a way you can program that so it'll take you to your Instagram site. Again, totally optional. That's pretty much it. I hope this was helpful. You're welcome to use Blogger, but I think Wix just looks a lot nicer. And I think this whole project is more interesting if you have some fun with it. So that's what I would urge you to do. Alrighty.